Hey, we're back again with another little vlog. What we're talking about today. So, this is what I'm taking my 10 pages from every single day. Every day I read 10 pages of a book. And I'm going over the section. It reminds me of something that Bob Proctor taught on as well. And of course, he was a real advocate of Napoleon Hill's workings. And as I'm getting into this, Napoleon Hill's talking about his mastermind that he created. Now, these people weren't necessarily all alive, however, he had studied them intently, and so he knew the characteristic traits of like Napoleon Bonaparte and Henry Ford and other such names, Lincoln as well, right? And so he would go to them and seek counsel. He already knew their habits. He already knew how these people thought. He already knew their character traits and what they would do in these scenarios. And so he would go to them with intelligent questions and say, and ask them something particular, and then act on what they advise them. And so who is it that inspires you? These people inspired him. And so who inspires you? Who are the people that you're inspired by? This could be in business. It could be in other areas of your life, not just particularly for business, but in anywhere, right? And so you don't need to pay these people. This is how you could get around people without being around people, through studying people, through reading. You get into their psyche, you get to understand how they operate. If you're listening to podcasts all the time, if they are dead, then read autobiographies and get to know how these individuals express themselves. Hell, it could be on a movie. It could be fucking Batman, Superman, whoever it is, right? But what's the characteristic traits of these individuals? And then what you got to say, what would they do in this scenario? What would they do? What solution would they bring to this problem? How would they think and act about this? How would they think, speak and act about this? How would they think, speak and act on this? And then as you're getting that advice, you take action on it. Really simple. So simple, in fact, and it's the simplest things that people bypass, they don't think about. That's what it's all about, right? Take on their standards. Not saying be the individual, far from it. Be you. Be the real authentic you. But most of you probably needs to get eliminated and executed, i.e. your beliefs. A lot of your beliefs, because you need to, that's usually what's holding a lot of people back, is the belief system. It's locked into their nervous system, actually. I've got a way to shift that. But however, what do I need to believe now to... There's a question. What would they believe about this situation? Right? Because that would dictate how they're thinking and acting. Because it's a belief, right? And so, who is it that inspires you in certain areas of your life? What problems have you got? Create the mastermind of these people that you're inspired by and seek their counsel. Take the problem to the table. Write it down. And just say, is that problem in me or is it on the paper? Is the problem in me or is it in the paper? Well, the problem's on the paper, right? Just say what it is. What would they think about this? Fill in the blanks. Who is it? What would they say? What would they do with this? How would they conduct themselves in this scenario? What would they say? What would they think? What would their standards be? How would they operate? Different questions. You come up with more, right? But make sure they're intelligent. Expecting to demand greatness. Demand yourself the attributes and action steps of the individual that you admire. Seek the counsel of those that you admire. Remember, asking for advice and help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Because it's you asking to become more. And it says that, listen, I can't quite see it yet. I need the light shone upon the road of where I want to go. I'm a bit stuck, right? Create a mastermind and seek the counsel from them. Just act on what they tell you.